This is a real methodology chapter that was submitted for a review. It looks correct, it sounds academic, but parts of it are completely wrong. And I'm going to tell you a secret. This is from my first research, like my undergraduate research. At the time, it looked correct, it worked, but now looking at it, there are clear problems. The kind of problem that most students don't notice because they look right on the surface. Now, before we start, let me tell you what the study is all about. It focuses on nurses working in a tertiary hospitals and their knowledge and attitude of clinical research. It is a cross-sectional study and it's used a questionnaire. That's all you need in order to understand what I'm about to tell you in this video today. Now we are going to go through it section by section. I'll show you what went wrong and what should have been written instead. Let's open this chapter. Now let's start with section 3.3, which is my study area. Now I'm going to read this section loud. I want you to listen carefully. I wrote that the hospital houses professors in all areas of medicine, including pediatrics, O&G, orthopedic, and the rest. Now the question is, what does any of this has to do with my study? What does it have to do with the knowledge of nurses regarding clinical research? Now the study area has only one job. It tells the reader or your supervisor why this study area was chosen for this study. What is relevant? Is it the number of nurses, like there are a lot of nurses in that area? Is it because they have infrastructure, because it is a tertiary hospital, so nurses are likely to come across research? Is that the reason? For what was written, I copied it directly from the hospital website. I didn't even in any way relate it to my study. I didn't even talk about nurses. I didn't say anything about nursing department. I was talking about the hospital, when it was established, number of departments, the professors it has. That's what I was talking about. I didn't even say anything, any single thing about nurses. I didn't even mention, which disconnected the study area from my research. So if you're writing your study area, there's need for you to find a connection. Why are you choosing that study area? There should be a reason why you are going for that population in that area and not in any other setting. Now the next one is the sample size section. Let me read the formula that was used in this study. Now I wrote that a sample of 144 representing 20% of the 723 population will be used for the study. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name right. 1981 opines that if a population is many hundred, a 20% sample will do. Therefore, a sample size of 144 representing 20% of 723 respondents will be used for this study, and it is calculated using a simple percentage as follows. N is equal to 20 divided by 100 times 724. Now this is not really a sample size calculation. This is more like a multiplication. So if you look at it, what is missing entirely from this calculation is the confidence level. There is no confidence level, there is no proportion, there is no margin of error. Now the problem is, I think this manner rule was determined a very long time ago, but it does not tell us whether the sample size is adequate for this study or not. Now if I was to redo this study, the sample size formula that I will use is the Cochrane formula. And how did I even got this percentage, this formula that I use? I think I got it from a previous research project that was in the library, and then I opened it and then I just copied the formula. The thing is, the research is actually similar to mine. It's the same topic but different locations, different states entirely. So that's why I saw that okay, it was something similar to mine, so that's why I used the same formula to determine my sample size as well. And now let's go to the next one, which is even a bigger problem. I promise you it is bigger than what we've seen. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to hold two sections in your head because they are closely related, and you're going to see how I messed up. So now the first section is the sampling technique, and the second section is the method of data collection. Now I'm going to read you what I wrote in my sampling technique section. So I wrote that a multi-stage random sampling was used. Now stage 1 is that I stratified nurses into nursing professional rank. And the stage 2 is that determination of sample size from each stratum using a proportionate stratified sampling where each stratum will have the same sampling fraction of 0.2. Now, the stage 3 of the sampling is that random selection of respondents from each stratum was done such that all strata will have a proportionate representative. This sounds structured, systematic, and carefully crafted. Now, let me read the method of data collection. I wrote that the researcher was asked to write a broadcast message explaining the nature of the study and the purpose of the research and attach the link to the electronic form which was sent to the WhatsApp platform by the secretary. Those willing to participate click the link and tick the yes on the consent box. Now, I don't know if you've spotted what's actually wrong between the sampling technique and the method of data collection, but if you haven't, I'm going to point it out for you. You see, the first section, the sampling technique section, described a controlled sampling process. But then, in my method of data collection section, I wrote that anyone willing to participate. Now, if you look at it, the first one stated clearly that the method that was used was a multi-stage simple random sampling. And now, seeing that anyone willing to participate after sending the form to a WhatsApp group, that is a convenient sampling. That is a convenient sampling. It is not longer a simple random sampling. So now, this cannot be true. Both of them cannot be true. It cannot be that you did a simple random sampling and at the same time a convenient sampling. So now that I'm looking at it, I know that it's convenient sampling because that's what I use to collect my data, which means that I did not use the sampling technique that I described. It wasn't operationalized. I didn't use it at all. Now, the key point here is that your sampling technique section and your method of data collection must be coherent. They must match. If you use a simple random sampling, you should also state the mechanism behind it. You use a ballot or a random number generator or a register, because if you look at it, even simple random sampling, I didn't mention any sampling frame. I didn't mention anything. So I don't know how I selected people randomly or participants randomly without having their names or their numbers. I don't know how I did that. And I think this is the most important lesson in this entire video. Your methodology is not about describing what you planned. It is about writing what you actually did. And also, in case you used a convenient sampling, you have to justify why you used a convenient sampling, and also you have to acknowledge it as a limitation in your chapter 5, because methodology is all about honesty. Can someone look at this study and replicate that study using the same method that you use? Can someone look at your paper and follow what you've done or what you've written? Now, there are 3 more problems in this chapter, and I'm going to go through them real quick because they share a pattern that's worth naming. Now, the first problem here has to do with the questionnaire because it was adapted from a previous study. But the problem is I did not cite the study. I didn't name the study and the context in which it was validated. And also, I didn't even explain why it was appropriate for me to adapt it for my own population. Now, the next problem is a validity. Now, I stated that the questionnaire was validated by 3 jurors. Now, I think this is the weakest form of validation, especially in this context in what I've written, because I didn't even state the name of the jurors, their expertise, or the criteria that was used to validate the questionnaire. Now, the next problem here has to do with the ethical consideration section and the data collection section, because what I'm saying here is that there is a reputation, because I described the same process twice. The saying of collection of introduction letter, ethics approval, consent mechanism, it appears in both sections. Now, the pattern I'm seeing here is that each of these errors has the shape of a good methodology, but in each case, the form is present without the substance. Now, what I want you to do is open your methodology, go through it, look at the sample size, the sampling technique, and ensure all the methodology sections agree with each other. And if you have not yet calculated your sample size or you use the percentage rule like I did, I think you need to fix that first. And you can do that by watching this video in case if you don't know how to do it. Because if that section is wrong, everything built on it is going to be weak. So that's all for today's video. If you want me to break down another chapter of this undergraduate research, you can let me know in the comments. And also, if you really found this video helpful, you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.